Hey guys, Steve here. I'm in Santa Catalina Island, about 30 miles off the coast of Los Angeles. And I'm here because my son Andrew is getting his scuba certification. So super excited about that. And since I got the GoPro Hero 9 a few days ago, well, it was a perfect occasion to talk about the underwater capabilities of the GoPro Hero 9. So the first thing is this camera doesn't need any special accessories to take it snorkeling. Now, if you do happen to be a scuba diver and you're going to be going deeper than, let's say, 35 feet, you're going to want a special housing. And this is a little plexiglass housing. I'll show you how this works in a moment. But just as a snorkeling camera, you don't really need anything. This is all you need. So I mentioned that you didn't need any accessories for shooting underwater. Well, that's not entirely true. You do need a handle, a nice solid handle, and preferably one that is buoyant. In other words, it floats. So if you drop your camera, the camera will float up to the surface and you won't be retrieving it from the abyss, if at all. The other thing that I recommend is a handle that telescopes, like this one. Some of you may call this a selfie stick. I call it a fishy stick. And the reason I do is that I can now take this and I can get much closer to my subjects now without spooking them. So you get better shots of marine life if you have some distance between you and them. So currently I have the GoPro Hero 9 set up for shooting 4K 30 wide. And I'm gonna jump into the presets for a moment to show you how you can edit the presets. You just tap the little pencil button there. And now you can see a readout of all your settings. Now, if you wanted to shoot in the highest resolution, in this case, this camera was shooting 5K, so I'm gonna tap here and then tap 5K. And now I'm shooting in 5K 30. Now, a little bit of a warning with shooting 5K is that currently the iOS does not support 5K video, only 4K. So if you do bring it into your iPad or iPhone, it's going to have to down-res it to 4K in order for you to work with it in iMovie or even play it back. So that's something that you need to be aware of. I plan on editing this in my computer, so I want the highest possible resolution. Plus, if you need to pull stills, 5K will give you really good quality stills without having to switch into photo mode underwater, which you can do, but I've been perfectly happy with the 5K settings on this camera. The other thing that's critical is white balance. And a lot of people don't realize how much or how fast the lighting conditions change underwater. And you can have this set for auto. Now, if you do set this for auto, you are going to have some color balance shifts throughout the dive. I've experienced that myself, and that's something that I don't like because it presents challenges when trying to color grade. I'll pick a white balance that's more in line with shooting outdoors. I generally go to about 5500K, which works out great. You will notice a little bit of a bluish cast to the images, but again, you can always deal with that in post. The other thing that you're going to want to deal with is color. Notice it's set for flat, and you can set this to GoPro standard color, and you can see it's a very, very saturated looking image. I tend to prefer shooting flat because GoPro footage looks really oversaturated to me, and I want to control that, so I'll shoot flat. As I mentioned earlier, if you plan on going deeper than 35 feet, you are going to need a dive housing. Now, GoPro sells this one on their website for about $50 US, and it's a very well-made housing. It's really sturdy, and even if you don't go scuba diving, I recommend this housing for anything that it's going to put you in a situation where you're going to put the camera under a lot of stress, because it does give your camera a lot of protection. Putting the camera into the housing is really simple. I had a housing previously, I think it was a GoPro 5. You actually had to remove the lens in order to get it into the housing, but not with this housing. It's just so simple. You just pop the Hero into the housing, and what I'd recommend is push on the back door to create a seal. Then bring the latch down. Make sure the latch is attached along the top lift, and then push gently downward. And you'll hear that click, and then you'll know that the housing is sealed. And you can get a look here, and you can see it's a really nice housing, and you've got your GoPro mount at the bottom, and I'm pretty much ready to go. If you want to turn the camera on underwater, you just hold the button on the side. Now the camera is on, and I can switch modes by tapping. I just tap. Now I'm in photo mode, I'm in time-lapse mode, I'm in back to video mode. And if I want to record, got the button at the top, and I just tap. Now I'm recording. And tap again to stop recording. All right, one of the things I wanted to check out with the Hero 9 was the microphone. I'm in a pretty noisy environment. You've got ocean sounds, there's all kinds of people around, with the surf. It's kind of noisy, so I want to hear how this sounds. The other thing is that this GoPro has this unique housing that allows water drainage from the mic so that you can be underwater, come up immediately, and have decent sound. I'm going to test that in a moment. But right now, let's go diving. Okay, I did wanted to check the mic to see how it sounds after immediately surfacing, and hopefully it drained and it sounds good. But if you get a chance to check out this dive park here at Catalina, you should. It's just a beautiful place. And one thing, as a postscript, I did take this camera deeper than 30 feet. I actually went to 60 feet without the housing just to see what would happen. And well, the camera didn't implode, but the pressure depressed the record button and I couldn't turn it off until I returned to a shallower depth. So it just showed me that the camera is actually depth tested much deeper than what they recommend, but something I wouldn't recommend you doing without a housing. But there you have it. Hope you enjoyed my video. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell, and we'll see you next time.